Well, hello everyone, and a warm welcome from myself, Kid and Petter, and my cohort Bod Hod, here from the beautiful Circuit Villeneuve on Ile Notre Dame, in the middle of the St. Lawrence River in Montreal, Canada. I guess we're doing the Freaky Friday thing again, Bod, so if you want to just take it from here. Didn't really have much of an intro, but just for contingency purposes. Felt like we should probably get that out of the way.
Yeah, once again we are streaming directly to YouTube as Twitch decides it doesn't want to connect with anyone outside of Europe. So we'll make do with what we've got. And yeah, I'll be hosting the stream again, so I'll do my best, and hopefully Kitten and I can work things out between us. Might even just ride on board with Alf for a lap, just to get our way around the circuit. It'd be pretty nice to see an onboard from a championship challenger. He's on medium, so it's not going to be the ultimate quickest time, but I've a good view of this lap through turn 4, 5. It is quite a challenging circuit in terms of not evaluating your lap time. I think that's going to be a big thing in qualifying, and then additionally in the race.
It is off.
The stream's not on.
What? No, we should.
Oh no, we're on. Oh yeah. Oh, I gotcha.
No, I was just saying the track limits around here are terrible. I think I got.
Yeah. I thought you meant the stream's off. My mistake there.
Oh, no. No. Not yet. The track limits around here, I think it was a big talking point, honestly, the past 2 races in Austria, and last week in Mexico City. But yeah, Canada honestly might be worse than both of them.
Yeah.
It is just absolutely horrendous around here. It's basically just a circuit full of chicanes. So, chicanes with a lot of runoff to the inside, which is really the perfect catalyst for plenty of time penalties via corner cutting.
Yeah, tough period in the calendar, isn't it? With those 3 tracks in a row.
Yeah, it really is. I think we're going to be seeing some guys 12, 15, 18, 20 plus seconds worth of penalties even at the top level in this American tier. It is brutal out here, and not to mention these walls coming by should mention Dresbassen. I think I pronounced it right. He's Danish. He's currently leading EU2. He also raced in EU1 just a couple hours ago. I think in 19th, actually, on his debut in there, leading EU2. 68 points, so
I've just seen Juventus put it in the wall just on stream here. I'm in the exit of turn, I believe is it 7? Just before the DRS straight? Yeah. Probably one of the more tricky traction zones on the circuit. Curving traction zone. That is one challenge for the circuit as well. There's not many straight line like braking zones and traction zones, so
yeah, it is really easy to lose it around turn 7 there. Honestly, half the time whenever you're starting to spin out with that left rear tire, you don't realize it until it's too late. So really gentle to that traction zone, otherwise could end up like poor old Juventus there. Yeah,
I mean, it is a challenging circuit. It doesn't look that difficult necessarily on the map, and a lot of the corners are similar, but I mean, there are plenty of hazardous places on the track. Just on board with Matty Robbo for the end of his lap there, up to P5 on the soft tyres. A couple of guys starting on mediums, so in relatively good positions actually. Arba and KD all in the top 7 on mediums, so promising start for them, although a fair few guys looks like they've invalidated their first laps. We're going to see a lot of that, I think, as they try and push the limits.
Yeah, even if you do start further in the back, a one stop, although not advised, is attainable here, and with it's a street circuit, but it's not really a street circuit. It's the same as Melbourne, basically. It's in a park, but it does have street circuit qualities to it, which will always be conducive to bring out a safety car at any given time. Matty Robbo actually did post in the YouTube comments, just checking here, that it will be a dry section. How do you feel once again for Alpha tonight? also leading. He's leading E3 division as well. So a couple of class leaders from lower divisions in Europe.
Yep, just checking out these sound stuff. Apparently, our levels are a bit whack, but there's not too much we can do about it. We might just have to yell a bit if we're not as loud as normal. So maybe we'll do that. Just if the game sound is a bit too loud, but we'll figure that out as we go on. Half the guys I'm flicking to here have got red track maps.
Yeah.
So some guys are really struggling.
I think it's the same kind of situation last night. I think I only got one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to do that. It's also easy to put it in the wall because the walls are pretty close. Probably most notably the wall of champions. Only champions hit that wall, so maybe if you want a bit of luck you can just kiss that slightly, but you wouldn't advise doing that too often as well. Fast chicane to close out the lap, incredibly easy to run too much curb or get thrown off it. So yeah, lots of really hazardous places on this track, and as you mentioned, being a straight circuit, one of those characteristics is close walls. So that's just another factor that these guys need to think about, and keeping it between the white lines, but making sure you're not pushing it where the track will bite you back. So it's going to be a real challenge.
Yeah, I think Perry is almost done with his first hot lap. Obviously, getting around that final chicane, he passed the wall of champions, one of the hot spots for not only ripping the ring off, but also time penalties. He does get through there okay, coming off his first podium last week, or I think it was his first podium this season. I might be mistaken. He's up in P4 regardless, as Alp also goes P1, 107.7. Gotta say, I'm not shocked.
That's a very strong lap.
Yeah, he probably even has a few more tenths in it. But yeah, Alp did do the this evening. He qualified. He qualified 4th or 5th. Finished out of the points. I believe he got involved in the pinball machine. First lap. At least that's what it says.
Yeah, probably not ideal, is it? Looks like Bean's going for a second lap. He finished his first lap P10, but he's still up into hot lap. So he may have backed off the second portion of his lap, perhaps maybe in the last sector. Looks like he's going again, currently P10, just setting the one lap so far. I think Nicholas put in a decent lap recently. A couple of guys on medium still right up there. P3, 4, 5 and 6, all of their best times are on mediums so far, which may not be the worst tire to start on, as we've got a little bit of traffic here actually for KD and Red Bull. I'm not sure if they're both on the lap or one of them's on the lap, but both racing points close together, probably not quite close enough to give each other a tow though, which could be a viable strategy maybe. Might see the Red Bulls doing that, they seem to work quite well together. Or B nearly kisses that wall, championship like I'm telling you. Improved to P10, so a small improvement. As Fenrique's picked up a 5th placer for Clyde. Alright, something's happening here maybe, because I think they're running to each other in the pit lane.
Yeah, I think Fenrique hit KD going into the pit lane.
Yeah.
Really a tricky pit lane to enter. It's coming in. The different braking strategies going into it. It is basically on the braking line of the chicane. You don't have a whole lot of room to react. I think that may have just happened. Fenrique may have just underestimated KD's braking into pits. But yeah, nonetheless, pretty frustrating for Fenrique. He's had a rough few weeks. He had 2 DNFs followed by a P5 last week. He's really slipped in the standings, being up to a 40-point advantage in P2. Bean is still within one race of Nicholas at 183. And then R-Bar P4, 29, followed by Schooner. 94 points, P5.
So it's fairly close. Within touching distance of each other.
Yeah, it's really close. Yeah, I mean, looking at some of the other European divisions today, I mean, this is actually not quite a runway yet. Bean is marking Nicholas quite well, race in and race out. Even though Nicholas is getting the lion's share of wins, Bean is after the first 5 or 6 races, he has not finished off the podium too many times.
Yeah, consistency. That's what it is for the pair of them. Both of them are always up there, and that's why they are in front. You don't have to win every single race. You found with Nicholas last season particularly, he was Mr. Second and Mr. Third, but he was always up there. But now he's managed to stretch that into wins, showing really good pace. But yeah, Bean's pretty much the same. Like, you can pretty much count on them being right up there, even if something does happen at the start. And, I mean, Bean, he's not necessarily the best qualifier. Like, sometimes you find himself starting P6, 7, 8, or qualify relative to his race pace, but he does work himself up the field quite well during the race. So that's a good thing. It looks like he's coming through for another lap. Actually, he's 4/10 up, so this might be a bit more of a competitive time for Bean, coming through the last couple of corners, nice and close to the wall on the exit. P4, there we go.
Pretty eaten up there, but yeah, P4. That's 4
laps.
Not
wow.
Not including the in or out lap. That's pretty much an entire stint.
Yeah.
In race conditions on those softs. I think even if he does start, he's probably going to have to switch off of those within the first 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, I think he's put himself under pressure a bit there, because he can't afford to invalidate his last run. If he does, and those tyres are going to be in the 20-25%. I don't think,
probably more than that.
I don't know if I can verify.
I
Just pulling up the dashboard quickly for the telemetry. I'm not sure if that tells us the tyre weight and quality. No, I don't think so. As Alp goes quickest again. So he's now 1.1 seconds clear of P2. Dressay's still sitting up there, which is good. Good to see for the European reserve. Speedster Alp's teammate coming in with minimal practice, I think he said. He's P3, so that shows his raw pace. He takes that final chicane really nicely there, so carrying as much speed as he can. He jumped to P2, so second man into the 107s, 4/10 off his teammate.
Yeah, Dre said he's already invalidated here on what would have been his second last lap, I think, or it might have just been his lap, actually.
There's a fair bit of traffic in the middle sector here. I'm just hoping to get out of the way of each other. Both Red Bulls, AlphaTauri, Mercedes, I think there's 2 Alphas as well, maybe McLaren. I'm not sure if Enrique's on a lap or not. It looks like Nicholas is trying to tow him, but he might be a tiny bit too close.
No,
and there's a Juventus is there, and he's got a 5-second place for hitting Fatal.
Yeah,
so
I think Fatal and Juventus made close. I think Fatal ran in the back of Juventus. I thought I saw the front of his wing. Fatal going straight there at the hairpin. But nonetheless, the Red Bulls are releasing one another. Enrique going for a better time at 15th. Way down there, up into P6.
There we go.
A little closer to where he's used to. Speaking of P6, Bob, you see using P7 for me.
DK's putting a very solid lap there. It is a compound softer than some of the guys around him, but I mean, around this track, the 2-stop is just as good as the 1-stop, if not better. Probably is better, actually. The pit lane time is really minimal, so qualifying on softs there, it's not necessarily going to be the biggest disadvantage, as you might see at, say, another track. So DK's done quite well to get himself into that track position. And yeah, track position is really key around this track. It looks like the Red Bulls are a bit close to each other to maybe pull the toe back to Nicholas, but DK with a great time in P7 currently, hoping to score a couple more points.
Yeah, as I was complimenting DK, I was right on board with Wing It, and I'm not sure what he was doing. He was just kind of lighting the rear tires up around the hairpin there.
All right.
I'm not sure what was going on there, but he's having fun. That's what it's all about.
100%, that's why we're here. Speaking of fun, Juventus might not be having too much fun. Still hasn't set a time yet, so it's going to be a one-shot quali for him. Nicholas is coming across the line. Can he improve? He does improve. 1:08.2 on mediums. So that's a really good time there on those medium tyres. He's not going to have time to do a soft run, so that could be Nicholas done just about the quali. But I mean, P3 on mediums is a really good result.
Yeah, I mean, he is committing to the medium strategy there. I think P3 would be about as good as he would expect, as up obviously on the better side of the 107s, 107.4, but only 8/10 off of that really isn't much to scoff at.
No, not at all. It's definitely good. That's really, really even there. Nicholas at his home track, he'll be wanting to get a good result. And he's opened himself up to a couple of strategy options. starting on those mediums. So it's a good start there. Wing it lighten up those rears. Gains time and positions, only 4 thousandths off Bursey. We've seen those two close together a lot of times this season. But getting the heat into the rear tyres looks like it's paid off in an improvement. A couple of guys now coming across the line to start their final laps with a minute and a bit to go. I think Dressay just started as well as a few others.
Yeah, I think Perry and Arbar as well. Jason P4. Oh, and Jason does lose it. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going to help him, but P4 nonetheless, preliminarily here, Bean is going to come across to start his final lap as well. You know, even though Dressa hit the wall there, he was able to give Perry a slight toe down. I guess is that the first DRS straight? I don't even know how to categorize that.
Technically, it would be. I think
it's been there for like 2 seasons now, and I'm still not used to it.
That's in the pit lane.
Tired,
I think.
So it's sure.
Yeah. I think he's the only Williams here. Yep.
Just one to come across. Guys in the top 10. Yeah. Nails. Final shift.
You got DRS open, runs out of EOS at the perfect time. Will improve to P4 just above his teammates. So good lap there from Perry. Plenty of guys coming through though. So can he hold it is the question. Looks like I think it might be Arbar. No, it's not Arbar. It's Juventus coming through next. He's invalidated. Who's next on the lap? Speedster stays P2. Alps also invalidated. Bean P3. So Bean's improved to the front 2 rows. Alp invalidated his laps. He won't improve. Matty Robert goes P7. Fenrique's invalidated. Arbar is not on a lap. DK's just finished.
Team right now. It is in P14. He is not invalidated. He's going down.
Looks like a dim then.
Straight.
Yep, Florian is doing a little bit of weaving. Maybe he knows he's on stream. He comes through the final couple of corners now. Don't bother. Oh, he's invalidated and he's K-magged it and DNF from the session. Oh, that's interesting there. Katie will... No, Katie is invalidated as well. So I think that'll be it for Collie just about.
Well, you know, if the curse of the commentator gets to you in qualifying, it won't affect you in the race. So better now than in about 20 minutes.
Yep. I think everyone's finished from qualifying there. So end with a bang for Ant. He'll start P15. So that's one way to finish it.
I genuinely feel for Alp and I think Jace Boss and all these guys that have already raced. DK was in the race as well this afternoon, and doing 2 races around here in quick succession. I think for Jace, he's done 3 now in about a day and a half. Oof, man,
so
my brain would be melted.
It is Alt from Speedster. That's the 2 McLarens taking out the front row, and there's a 7/10 gap from Bean to pole position in P3. Nicholas and P4 on medium tyres though, so that's quite important for the strategy there. Perry, Dressay, Matty Robbo, Arbar P5 to 8. Fenrique set P9 on mediums, but he has a 5-place penalty that will drop him down to P14. That puts DK up in an extra position, and Fatal will go to P10. Although I still think Fatal gets free choice of tyres, doesn't he? Actually qualifying in P11. So yeah. P11 down, we'll have to pay attention to see what tyres they go on, because you really could pick any tyre you wanted. I mean, the hards aren't that great, but if you wanted to one-stop it and keep your trap position, then they may not be the worst thing to give a go.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Red Bull has they've stuck to their guns here with these mediums. Even though Fenrique did get the 5-place grid penalty for whatever happened in the pits between he and Katie, he's still in a pretty good position, being in P9 on mediums. Definitely multiple kind of options. Both of those Red Bulls have for the race in terms of strategy.
I mean, the mediums are a very good race tyre. Pretty clearly the best. The softs are good for the first couple of laps and then kind of level out a fair bit and start to really drop off. The hards are just generally slow. So the mediums are a very good race tyre. So if you can start on those, it's not the worst thing to happen. We've already got a couple of predictions in chat. Jim Alp, Dressay, Matty's obviously a European man. Wishing the best of his colleagues. Yes, the 2 McLarens looking very nice in the front row. If they can hold those positions off the start, then It's going to make it difficult for the likes of Nicholas on those slightly harder tyres to keep up. So we might see the two McLarens try and gap away at the start, like make the most of those softer tyres, but probably by lap 4 or 5 we might see Nicholas start to get those mediums rolling. Softs will probably last 7, 8, 9 laps at the start, mediums will last probably 15 would be the optimal.
You could probably get about 50 to 17.
Yeah. We'll have to see what the play is. I know last night in the AM2 race that we were in, I found the soft tyres at the start, your quality softs dropped off a lot quicker than expected, so we might even see the guys on softs pit fairly early, dependent on traffic. We'll have to see how that all plays out. In terms of tyres, a little bit of variety, but most people have picked the medium tyres from the 10th down due to Enrique's penalty. For Enrique, we'll have to start on old mediums because of that penalty. Ant's gone hards and Swan has gone soft, so they're the only exceptions. So, gone for something different there. Swan will have the best tyres of the lot, but down in P16, I mean, we've seen him do it before, haven't we? Start fairly low and gain a lot of positions at the start. He did that last week, I think it was, at Mexico.
Yeah, I think he was up about 7 spots at the start.
Yeah.
Much. Yeah, but I do like if he can keep his wing on intact on that first stint on the hards. We saw AM1 do something similar last night. He went from last 5th, I think 18th or 19th to 5th.
Yeah.
Pulling that strategy. So as long as he can keep it clean, he might be on for his first points. I think this is his 3rd race. Showed some pace, but still yet to really get the whole thing put together. Jim Sakis, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's J-Sack. He says that he is obsessed with your voice, Bada.
Oh, really? I wonder how many Australians he's had before. I think we do quite well together, so we complement each other quite well. But I mean, it makes the job a lot easier when the AM1 guys are so super to watch. So appreciate the compliments, and let's hope we can deliver a couple more good races. We've got plenty of races left in the season, actually. But lining up for this one, it should be a really good one.
We got about 2 months, about 2.5 months left in the season. So hopefully we can get Twitch figured out in that time span.
Yes, let's hope so. That will make things a little bit easier as well. As we've got everyone on the grid now, so we should have our lights if everything goes to plan. There we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. There's 2 bright orange McLarens heading up the field. Lights. That looks like Speedster may get the jump slightly off the start. We know Elk's not fantastic, and yeah, he does. So Speedster gets the jump into turn 1. Very short run. P3 and P4 going side by side. Maybe a bit of calamity at the back there. Nicholas is going to try and squeeze Bean out. Still side by side. But Nicholas may be able to stay ahead. Just takes the inside line and takes that position. So good start there. Looks like there's a Ferrari. I think that's Lopez off the back, and Anth also hasn't had the best start, but fairly clean generally as well. I think I haven't seen too much wing flying off, which you sometimes do see. There's a Haas getting fairly squirrely out of turn 7. I think it's stress A, but looks like everyone's gotten off the line fairly well actually. So it's been a good start. Swan and Bursey, the 2 AlphaTauris going side by side there, it looks like, as well down the field. So maybe doing a bit of a swap. Swan will have the best tyres. And for Enrique right down in 15th, he's also lost a few positions off the start. He's going to dive it down the inside. Oh, a bit of contact there. That might open the door for Juventus as well. He gets very, very loose, and he's actually going to go onto the defensive now because of that. But a pretty good start from the whole field. Everyone's kept their noses fairly clean, which is important for a race like this.
I think the main thing I saw on the start.
Oh, Bean's gone round. Bean's in the fence, I think. Trying to flick to him, yeah. So he's gone round. I'm not sure if he's got damage.
Yeah, he does. That left him.
Oh, that's massive. Fighting for P3 with Nicholas. Didn't really see what happened there, but that's a shame. Oh, there's going to be more contact just behind as well. As I think someone else may be in a bit of trouble, possibly Claypoint using a couple of positions, but lots of people on the move.
I'm trying to see here. I think that might have been Wing. I thought the end plate was yellow. Yeah, it's Wingett's left end plate as well. I think he must have made contact there with Bean's right rear tire. Not ideal, but it shouldn't be too much damage. I would assume that he'll be able to finish out, for the most part, this first stint. I think Claypoint's going to be a little bit more worse for wear in that situation. Actually, no, he's clean. I thought he might have lost some too, but he is kept those together. And it's here.
Oh, nice move. It looks like Lopez trying to get by, but
yeah. I think he might actually just quit right now. He is dropped all the way to the back. It is unfortunate. We were just admiring his consistency in the past half of the season. Less than about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Life changes quick.
100%. Yeah. So a really poor start there. He's going to need a safety car perhaps to get back in this race. It's too early to probably go hard. You probably won't want that either. You can probably just do a medium to medium from here. You should be able to make it work, but it's far from ideal being that far behind. It is mediums. Speaking of behind, Nicholas has actually maintained some really good proximity to the McLaren guys. I thought they'd run away a little bit further, but Nicholas has done really well. The two Haas as well in P4 and 5, they've maintained some good positions there. So the R-Bar's just maybe dropped DRS from there, so that's an important gap to watch. You don't really want to lose DRS, as we see a couple of guys getting their first penalties. That is going to happen a lot of the time tonight, isn't it?
Yep,
yeah.
It is well done by the top 5. Both McLaren's, Nicholas, and both Haas's. They're all still in DRS of one another, and R-Bar's Matty Robert just kind of flirting on the outside of that as well. So I think the top 5 here might have a chance to break away if R-Bar continues to slip back. Second and a half now, lost about 4/10 in the third sector.
Katie and DK going side by side in turn 1, and there was a tiny bit of contact. Katie's trying to push his way through. DK holds it around the outside. It's a great defense there from DK. Katie making a really aggressive move, but not coming off as Nicholas picks up a penalty. So that's really important for the start of the race here. That's massive. Lap 4, that's the last thing we would have wanted, being already on the back foot in terms of penalties. So not ideal there. I think we've seen 3 or 4 guys now getting up penalties. I will pull that up from time to time to check in with that, because they will be incredibly regular. Speaking of regular, Swarner's regular charge up the field is going well as well, already up in P11 and on the back of Fatal, who's also on the back of this little train here, headed by Matty Bobo, who's another one losing touch.
Much like last week, Swarner was the largest mover at the start. There's 5 spots, now it's on the 4th, and Ricky has passed it.
Ooh, have a look at the top 3. Alp's in. Sorry, no, I just saw Nicholas and Alp. Nicholas considered throwing up the inside, sorry, just jumping there, but Alp will pit on lap 4, end of lap 4, so very, very early there. Probably a bit early to go soft medium from the rest of the race, so he may slap on a couple of sets of mediums to finish it out, but he obviously felt he was under pressure from Nicholas, maybe wasn't liking those tyres early on again, but I mean, I'm surprised Nicholas has this much pace already. The soft has dropped off a bit quicker than I would have thought. That's important for those medium guys, especially looking at like KD and down on those mediums as well. They're going to be starting to reel in the likes of DK, Mataroba and R-Bar, so they could play themselves in quite nicely here.
Yeah, and his Alp here is perhaps he just didn't want to stay behind his teammate in P1. I do think Speedster might have been a little bit there at the start, so even if he pits on lap 4, I think he still should be able to take 2 sets of mediums the rest of the way, which is what I would expect from the Speedster. So just a little bit of an undercut. He now has clear air up to Ants in P16, but after that it will get a little dicey as you got Juventus, Lopez, Wingett, and Swarner, Bursey, Fatal from Enrique, not too far ahead. So
they're going side by side down here as well. Lopez down the inside of Wingett, and Juventus might try and throw a nose in there as well. He will. So Wingett's going to lose 2 positions. This could be, or they both had to avert to going off the track there, and looks like Alf may slide through on Wingett as well there. Jose picks as well from the front, so yeah, a bit close together.
Yeah, Jason's, he's going to be, he's marking Alf, but I do think Alf got the undercut there, and Jason's going to have to get through a couple of these guys. Let's get back up as Lopez has lost it.
Oh yeah, we can see just on the edge of our screen there.
Yeah,
we've got a safety car, a full safety car.
Yeah.
So that's massive for those soft runners. That's going to really help them out. Wow.
Yeah, we'll see what everybody else does. Not sure if this is a positive or a negative for Nicholas. Who I would assume he's trying to go for a 1-stop, or not just trying to throw on the other side of mediums now. But yeah, Lopez there. We've all done it before. Looks like he took a little bit too much curb on the outside of that second chicane.
Yeah.
and I just shot him right back up. As Nicholas is pitting, Speedsta, Perry, Arbar, Maddie, DK, KD, Fenrique will stay out on the medium, so a little bit of entertainment. Mix and Red Bull.
Fatal and Birds will jump to P2 and 3, they stay out as well.
Yeah, I don't think, not a bad move from Sailor, I think. I'm sure he just heard some curse words in Spanish from Lopez over his ear.
Oh, as Speedster's gone off the track at the pit lane exit, and that's let Nicholas through. So that's, yeah, I just saw that in the corner of my eye there. So he's gone deep under brakes at the pit exit, and Nicholas has just slid through on the inside. So that's for the effective lead. Although in saying that, Alp's now back in the effective lead, I guess, having pit. But look at the likes of the guys who just pit. Jose in chat, Jose got unlucky, yeah, so he's dropped a lot of positions. Who this does help though is Bean gets back into the train, but it's interesting to see a couple of guys getting up and down. Ant did stay out those hards, which is probably logical. So we're going to have a multitude of strategies at play here now. It's going to be a stretch from mediums to softs.
It's going to be really interesting from Speedsta here.
On the softs, yeah.
Throwing on the softs once again. I guess these are probably going to be an unused set. So should be able to stretch about 10 laps out of them. So let's say that takes him to 18. So we have 17, 18 laps on the medium set. Probably could work. But he's going to have to get through these top 4 as soon as possible. So safety car goes in.
Yeah.
As soon as
yeah, my guess is those top 4 are probably going to plan, or Alp definitely will, but the top 4 probably plan to stretch it out and go to softs at the end. So Speedster's going to have to make up some positions because this is where he's going to get that time back. Jace in chat, is a soft hard a good option? It could be, but I think those hards are just a bit slow. May as well stay out in the mediums because they will last a fair while as Speedster's warming up those rears. The mediums will do 16, 17 good laps, and then start to really drop off after that, I think.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I think Jason did just ask in the comments if a soft hard is an option. I mean, I really don't think the hards are worth it. They're about 2 seconds off the softs, and that's what Nicholas is going to be on for his last stint, one would assume. So, yeah, I think Speedsta's just going for a soft medium, try to stretch these tires for as long as he can. But who knows? He might try to throw on the hards. I guess he hasn't practiced much, so I'm not sure how he lies, but hards are rubbish around too. So
yeah, definitely. We've got Bean in chat asking what's the tile after the mediums. Where's Bean on track at the moment? I reckon it'd be about 16, 17. He's on 5 lap hold mediums. With his safety car, it may help him stretch it. If you can get 17 laps, that's puts you to 22. But 13 laps on softs is probably a bit too much. You wouldn't want to do more than 11 on him, I think. So.
Does Bean have like is it like voice chat on his PlayStation app where he can just message?
Possibly.
Like, is he texting and driving? Is he pulling a Santino Ferrucci right now texting?
Yeah, possibly. Check his social media live streams maybe. We'll have to suss that out. But the safety car is in this lap, so fairly quick safety car actually. And Fenrique, he's gone early and he's actually got a big jump on Fatal. Probably expecting him to go on the exit of the chicane, but he's gone well before it and he's got a jump as Arba will pick up a time penalty straight up. There's a lot of movement through the back of the field here. Alp and Speedster going side by side. I'm not sure if they're going to let each other through. They're not. Alp's going to maintain trap position on his teammate, and Nicholas is going to get squeezed in between the two McLarens. Speedster needs to get this done, I think, but he's not in a good position on track. Nicholas down the inside. Can he hold it? He's going to have to go off the track. More side-to-side contact.
Yeah, this is getting intense over here.
I'm going to run a ball with Ant here. Yeah, and Perry's looking involved as well. As more contact. And Ant's actually going to get through the pairs, and that's how much contact they made. Speedster's lost a lot of positions. Nicholas has stayed in P8, but Arbar's through as well now. And look at Speedster, he's dropped right down to P12 on those soft tyres, which is the absolute worst thing that could have happened to him. So Arbar and Ant nice and close together, but I mean that's disaster there for Speedster there. Not getting let through by his teammate, understandably so, fighting for a race win, but then all that argy-bargy with Nicholas there, that was pretty interesting.
interestingly enough, I think Nicholas did just kind of say enough at
Oh, we're going to go 3 wide. They're going to go through it. This will be disaster. We've got a perfect camera angle. They've all hit each other, and Arbar's been forced into the pits. Okay, that's...
Nicholas's...
Yeah.
Nicholas, I think, tried to make it back to the pits and wound up in Jason's side block there.
Has Nicholas got damage?
Oh, not Jason.
Oh, he does have damage. He's got big damage. So it was Nicholas, Ant, and Arbar. And Arbar got squeezed in the pits. Ant lost out a fair few positions with the bad line, and Nicholas has big damage now. As Juventus and Ant's going to drop it further actually. So has Ant got damage? Doesn't look like it, but oh no, he does. He does front end plate. Yeah, that's big there for this race. And, wow.
Yeah, well, this is
championship as well.
Some things up in the air. Yeah, definitely more motivation here for Bean. I don't think Nick is going to be able to nurse that one around. His front wing is toast. Going 3 wide there, I think Nicholas might have just gotten a little ahead of himself.
Yes, possibly.
And I think he tried to turn back into the pits, but Anthony was trying to avoid the pits as he was already on the hard, so
yeah.
It was just going to
up the front,
yeah,
Fatal and Jersey, sorry, they've just lost positions each as well, so Alp and Perry both making up his position. So Alp now in P2, this is big for the championship as well, if Nicholas is right down the back there. And Alp is up the top, and if Bean can get himself up there, then there could be fairly big implications. But Perry and Alp lining themselves up quite well. Jersey and Fatal still on those mediums they started with. It'll be interesting to see how long they choose to stay out, whether they'll go soft from here out, or try and stretch it out for a one-stop. But they've done well to hold their track position as well, but Fenrique's bolted a tiny bit. As for Alp now, he's got past Fatal, and he's going to lose another position to Perry on the inside there, so as Arbar's retired in the pit lane, probably quite frustrated, having been forced into the pit in that 3 wide, which I would advise against for anyone else watching the stream.
Here's Jason Bursey. I think Jason's trying to get past Bursey here on exit from the hairpin. He should be able to get it up and slip along the way, easy as you like.
Yep, it's done well.
Doing pretty good up there in P4 right now.
Yeah, I recall last season, Fatal was pretty much a compound quicker than the entirety of the AM2 field. As we say that, Jose is actually going to get him here, but Fatal had some really good pace around here, I remember, last season, and I mean, even though the strategy and the safety cars kind of helped him, I mean, he didn't even qualify like poorly or anything. He's looking alright, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, that's a decent qualifying. P11 is very, very good for that ultimate strat, so he's actually put himself in quite a good position, has Fatal. If he gets another safety car, he could kind of be in that position legitimately as well. So, as is Bursey, he's right behind as well. We can't forget about Bursey too, but those two looking quite good. They're going to have a host of guys trying to get past them, but their pace isn't shabby at all, so it's not going to be an easy task for those guys. If Fatal can hang on to DRS with Dressay, he can kind of pull them both along as well and maintain that good position. So, yeah, they've put themselves in a really good spot.
Yeah, I was going to wait for a dull moment in the action, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get one of those, so I might as well shoehorn it here. After you get past P8 in points, which is Lopez with 67, from 9th to 14th is only about 8 points. Katie
wow.
and Juve. Bursey, Wing It, JCK could not make it this evening, and Fatal.
Oh, we've got an incident as well, sorry. DK and Bean have run into each other going into the pit lane. I'm not sure if one of them was trying to pit and the other one wasn't, but DK's got big damage. I'm not sure about Bean as well. Bean's only done 9 laps in those races. Yeah, he's got damage as well. So those two have hit each other in the pit lane. You were mentioning before, it is quite a tricky pit lane because it goes straight off the racing line. It can catch you up, but also you can hold it flat past the braking zone and then brake really, really late. So if you're following someone, you have to be really mindful of that, and maybe they've just had a bit of a clumsy coming together there, but that's going to put them both back to last for Bean, and then down the back again for DK, which is far from ideal.
110 separates he and Fenrique for the lead right now. This is for the net. Well, I guess technically Fenrique outpasses the net lead, depending on what Fenrique does in terms of one stop or two stop. Lopez says, "You're welcome, kid." Lopez, I wasn't trying to jinx you. I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I'm not happy about that. I only want the best for you. is Fatal is now coming under attack from Speedster. So both McLarens looking to make a move as Matty Rabbit picks up a 3-second time penalty. Honestly, it's not even really worth keeping track of this early. I think we have to do it like we did last week. And just check the last 18 laps.
Yeah, that sounds like the way to do it. Katie gets Bursey. Also, the two halves are swapped over. Jose getting past Perry. So that's quite interesting. Obviously, Perry thinks...
a big move from Speedster.
Yeah.
Big move from Speedster there.
Oh, wow, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, just got caught a little bit. And that's going to give Rabo the 6.
Yeah.
Huh.
Tiny little coming together there, but...
Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons.
That's it. Battle for the front. Alp's gone really deep on the brakes. The hairpin made the move, but they're side by side on the exit for the front. There's action happening left, right, and centre. We'll try and get as much of it as we can, but Fenrique now is going to have... No, he's not. Alp's going to have the DRS, but Fenrique will have a tow, and they're going side by side down the straight. Neither of these guys will want to give, I can guarantee that, but Alp slots in behind.
How did Fenrique out-drag him right there without DRS?
No idea. Bean gets another 3 seconds, which isn't going to help his course, as does KD. But Fenrique is going to hold on, as Bertie's in the pits now on those mediums. Micah says he's going to do 2 stops.
Goodness gracious, look at this. You can throw a blanket on the top four now. Jason and Perry joining the party. These guys are all within about a second of one another.
Yeah.
What's the worst?
8 tenths between them. I mean, it's great for us. It's good viewing. That's pretty stressful. Oh, as Fenrique gets a massive loss of the rear end there. That's going to let Alp through, and Dresse might try and squeeze between the pair of them. He has. Dresse's gone to the lead.
Oh, what a move!
That's a fantastic move there. Alp and Fenrique struggling, but Fenrique probably the most. Perry's got his eyes open, ready for any kind of opening as well behind, but Alp and Fenrique didn't see Dresse coming, I don't think, there. He just came out of nowhere and just took that position with strength and assertiveness. So great driving there for Dresse, but he's now going to have probably a frustrated Alp and Fenrique coming past again. Although look at Perry now on Fenrique.
Perry had a much better exit. Fenrique's meetings
will
probably start to feel a little worn now. 14 laps. We will have to see what he chooses, whether softs or either. So I would say could probably go soft from here.
Yeah, I reckon soft would be the way to go from here.
And he's going hards. He's going
wow, big play.
So interesting.
As is Fatal, he's going to one-stop it as well, come in as well. So I would have two-stopped it, but I mean, maybe these guys have a bit more confidence in the hards, so we'll have to see how that plays out. I mean, the pit lane, I think I mentioned in qualifying as well, is really small because you can cut a lot of the track on the exit, and the entry is very fast. So it's going to be interesting to see whether those guys can hang on to those guys in front.
Yeah, I've got some Dressa fan support in the comments from Joel and J-Sack. The Danes are really taking over every tier. Like, there's only like 4 million Danish people in the top world. I feel like we have half of them in the contest.
Yeah, we might. Definitely out in full force today to support their man. But he's going to come under pressure from Alp again. Not close enough to make a move. As Nicholas will pick up a second time penalty. He's down in 15th, so he's not really in the points even at all. And it might be difficult for him to get in there on those hard tyres. KD pits for the second time, so it's a bit early to go on mediums again, so that's going to be interesting as we see these guys really pushing, aren't they? See, going wide, losing the rear end a bit.
Yeah, Alp just about lost it coming out of... I believe the correct corner name for it too is Virage Sina. Not sure what Virage means in French, but maybe someone can enlighten me.
Oh, Perry's got to run here, but can't quite make it move. I think Alp's got a slightly poor exit there, but he's done well through the chicane to make that back up again. Dresse is all right with 1 second.
Yeah, that's a well done by him. I had just flipped on to Fatal there as he kind of came out in this argument, and Clay Funk lost a significant chunk of that right wing through so unfortunately for Clay, he might have to put on the softs and change his wing here in a couple laps.
Matty Rory gets Speedster P4, so Speedster on 10 lap old softs. They're not going to be feeling great anymore. He's probably going to try and stretch it another maybe lap to get to mediums to the end. But Speedster, you'd expect to have a lot of pace, but with that really poor restart, with that little calamity with Nicholas, that's really hurt him. Although to be fair, he's not going to drop too much lower than P5 because everyone else behind is probably going to pit with the exception of Enrique, who makes a move on Juventus there into turn 1. So Speedster, he's not going to lose out a massive amount, but he's lost the potential benefit that he would have had. So not ideal for him, but still plenty of time in the race. We're only at halfway, so I mean a lot can still happen.
Yeah, I've been thinking back to that restart. About 10 laps ago now. I think that Alp probably got caught off guard by Fenrique by his jump, and I think Speedster might have passed him on the back straightaway, but Speedster could not pass him, could not be in front of him as they crossed the line. Otherwise, that would have been so he could back off, and then that eventually created just a huge accordion effect behind him, which resulted in problems down the field for Speedster and Nicholas and everyone else.
Speaking of, he's picked up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, so fast way to it there. We've seen Fatal right at the back of the ramp, make it lining up the move for a little while. Katie got him on the lap previous, and he's already gapped him a bit, so Ant's struggling a bit on those 17 lap old hards. So we should expect him in the mediums possibly in the next lap or two, unless he's going to try and stretch to the softs, which may actually be the play, so we'll have to see how that goes. But sticking it out, but he's not got really any pace at the moment.
Yeah, Fenrique is flirting with the basically with the pit delta here for the lead on this one start. He's at 18.5 seconds to Jason in the lead right now.
I think the pit delta is about 17, 18, yeah, so he's right in the bubble, but he's going to have the worst tyres. So it's going to be a close one. I'm not sure if he'll be able to line up a win. Maybe a P4 ahead of Matty Robbo, because they're 7 and a bit seconds off the top 3. Who'll get very close together again, but I mean, Fenrique is going to be, it's going to have to be a real masterclass for drive to get the win from here.
Yeah, JSAC did ask what Fenrique's times were. They're actually not bad if you're following along here, but those mediums are at about the end of their life. Fenrique is about 4 maybe. On the hards, he is, they are getting up at some point. He's pretty much running about the same times he was on the mediums. So, it's pretty much stabilized at 18 seconds to the leader. So it's going to be close coming out. Fenrique might have a lap or 2 window of opportunity. It's kind of choke these guys. Let's see how it plays out, how aggressive he can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, can just fireworks there at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those hards aren't going to die off. So,
no.
Yeah, it's going to be a close call. Top 3 still close together. I don't think else. I think Dresse is good enough out of the hairpin. It's not really coming to pressure. And the straight towards turn 1 is probably not quite long enough for a big move. So Dresse's been clicking the right directions. They're all going to pit. Well, Perry stays out for the double stack, of course. But Dresse and Al both in the pits now. So they're going to go for another set of mediums. They'll go to the end fairly comfortably from there. So they're going to come into the pits. We'll run on board with Fenrique because that's the gap we want to know. They should be fairly well ahead of him, but it won't be a certainty. I usually judge the start finish line is usually a fair indicator. I think Fenrique may just fall behind. Yeah, he will on board there. He's lost about a second maybe. Yeah, and he's going to do very well to make that up again.
Yeah, if he can just keep. What does he have? Yeah, he's in TRS range.
Oh, he's right in the bubble.
Right in the bubble, yeah. If he can
not
maybe close that here on this lap, maybe he'll have a chance. But these top medium runners now, Perry, Matty, and Swan are all on 14 laps. Let's see who blinks first, or if they all blink at the same time. It's Fenrique picks up at 20 seconds, I think.
Yep. Just as we're on board. Yeah, top 3 are interesting because those mediums we passed their best. They'll be in the 40s. Actually, I can tell you what they're in. Yeah, they're high 40s, low 50s for most part on the rears. You will burn the rears a lot more than the fronts. As Matty Roberts going to stay out again. I wonder if he's going to try and stretch to softs, but Perry and Swanner will pit for more mediums. That will put Alp back into P3, sorry, behind Jesse in P2, and then Fenrico will stay in P4. No, he's not. Perry's around the outside there. So,
right next to Fenrico.
oh, Fenrico's lost it. Oh, he's kept it out of the wall somehow. Wow.
That was a great save, but I think that is going to be any chance of a podium dash for Fenrico. Is just have to hope for some good points here. As Speedster has put in the fastest lap of the race just a couple laps ago. He was purple in sector 1 once again. He smells blood. It's the blood of Fenrico.
Yeah. Really quick on those medium tyres is Speedster. He'll be hoping to get back into that top 5 after that little blunder earlier on. And looks like Fenrico's really struggling for pace. And then possibly just for general grip as well. We've got yellows in the second sector. We've got a virtual safety car. What's happened there? Not too sure what's caused that. Was it fatal perhaps? I think it's a Ferrari towards the back of the train there. But I didn't see any sudden change of positions by anyone.
Oh yeah, Fatal is missing his entire front wing.
Oh wow, so he's put it in the the whole thing. Yes, he's put it in the wall quite hard somewhere by the looks of things.
Yeah, tough day for Ferrari. And I think this is actually going to benefit Matty a little bit. Up front, he is going to throw on the mediums once again, but he will have the freshest pair towards the race. Warner as well. Those seems Perry. So. Yep. An interesting race coming down here. Pretty much the entire top 10 is up for grabs.
I'm surprised that Juventus hasn't pit as well. He's on 16 lap on mediums. I'll check the telemetry. Maybe he started on more mediums, which is why he's not going to pit, because the softs won't make it yet. Maybe in 2 lap time. Where is Juventus on that? Yeah, he did start the mediums. So if that VSC was a lap or 2 later, then he could have gone soft. So that explains why he stayed out. But yeah, Matty Robbo getting a cheap pit stop there. That's going to help him. He's not fallen that far behind Speedster, and they'll both be catching Fenrico at a rate of knots. So Matty Robbo could still be on for a really solid result, top 5.
Quite possibly. This is not exactly what I would have expected going into this evening's race. Nicholas and Bean fighting out for the last points paying position. The 2 championship leaders after some pretty crazy racing at the start. They're now just looking to pick up a piece of that kid. I'm not sure how much is going to be on the off room as Swarner makes the move around Juventus for P7. I think Juventus 17 laps on those mediums. Can't be a whole lot much left to give.
Yeah. I should expect him in the next lap, maybe the end of this lap, 11 laps on the softs, or maybe might make like 1 more. Those tyres will be absolutely screaming at him now. His rears are in the 50s, so yeah.
It's hard to really get into puncture territory here because the rears burn off so fast, you can feel it. And there's so many heavy traction zones through the chicanes, you will lose it before you get puncture. So I wouldn't be surprised if like 50-60% he's got to get off those tires. Otherwise, he's really risking ending up in the wall.
Why is my clicker thing not working? I'm trying to get battle up the top. Looks like Speedster and Fenrico swap positions. Speedster getting through on DRS for P4. We've got more yellows. Is that an Alfa Romeo? I think that's at. Oh, he's retired.
He's retired.
On track, which is illegal, and that's brought out of VSC, so he might be in a bit of trouble for that actually. But we'll leave that to the stewards.
Obviously, it's up for race. He actually was doing pretty good. He kept the hards clean there on the first 10. Until kind of unfortunately got caught in that entire schmozzle with Nicholas Arbar, which left Arbar after the race.
Yeah.
Going through the line down the back straight. This BSC is cleared. Dre's doing a really good job here.
Yeah, he's keeping his head, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if... Alp might just be trying to put the pressure on. I'm not sure how much these two have raced against each other in the past, but looks like Fuel and ERS are pretty even.
Yeah, he's doing incredibly well. The pressure from Alp, everyone knows the pace of Alp. but he's hanging on, definitely. Alp, once again, not close enough to really make a move. So it's a really good race at the front. Perry's dropped off a fair bit. He's 4.5 seconds back now, so not as comfortable on these new mediums as he was before. So he's now in a bit of a lonely battle almost. Juventus finally comes into the pits on those old medium tyres. He's going to drop out of the points now. That's going to put DK into the last points paying position, as Beam's also pit. So DK may be on for some more points.
DK's going to have to pit as well. 15 laps on those mediums.
Oh yeah, he might, yeah.
9 more laps in the race. I think Nicholas is going to be able to hold off on these hards. He can probably go like 22 laps in the race. Not recommended, but I think in his situation, just to get a couple of points here, he'll be okay with that, given everything that's happened today. Actually, he's closing on KD. He's not getting away from him too much. Yeah, I think Burzy and Juventus might actually have the best chances outside of the top 10 to get some points.
Oh, Alp's close. Alp's very, very close. Not quite. He picked up 3 seconds a couple of corners ago. And Dressay is still clean. So Alp probably now has a new sense of urgency to get by.
He is, Jason's really, he is absolutely, his Alp picks up, or no, that's Bean,
that's Bean.
But Jason's got he's locking up quite a bit. Especially about first complex. What if that might come into play here as they're on extreme similar tires? Towards the 6 laps on each other. Perry actually has the freshest tires out of all these two have cleared away.
Yeah. According to our telemetry, actually, Alp's cooking his tires a lot more. They're kind of 4-5% more worn. Speedster's tires are similar. Although Speedster has been on them for 2 more laps. So it looks like Alp's really burning those tires, maybe running a really aggressive setup. You can't do that because the highway's not that bad at Canada generally, but I mean, it could come into play towards the end, particularly now that he's on the back foot with penalties as well. So Alp has to be clean as well as nice with the tyres to really have any chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I would think that Alp would, with that kind of wear, he would be the one running lower downforce. He simply cannot catch Trace on the straights, even with DRS. He starts about 4/10 behind, gets up to 2, and just stalls out. Trace must be running a little bit less downforce. But well done. Well helped. Coming in on the second race in about 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that lap practice, those laps on the board will really help Jose. He'll be mostly familiar with the track now, so that could be playing a factor as well. That holding his own really well.
Too. I mean, I guess maybe it does say something. These guys both did the race.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Jose's 3rd race this week and Alp's 2nd, so they should both be accustomed to the track, I guess. But Beans has the quickest lap of the race, so he's going to get, well, he's not going to get a point. He's going to take a point away from someone else.
Yeah, I think that was really
something maybe. Yeah, I mean, he could have had 1 or 0 points depending on the guys behind him, but
he's not going to give anyone else that extra point. I don't think he was going to score points.
Oh, it's been almost, sorry, not been Alp, sorry, almost sent it, but had to back out of it there because that door was closing. Jose defending quite well. The Alp, he's starting to get really, really close, so maybe he's figured out where he's losing the time relative to Jose and starting to fix it up a bit. Because he has been getting pretty close the last few laps. Something worth noticing actually. Oh, as Alp loses the back end and KD Nicholas, yeah, good battle here. Gets through. Nice job.
18 lap hards for Nicholas, but he's still gaining on KD there. So impressive pace as you might expect for Nicholas. Yeah, obviously. What's going on?
Swarner and Matty Roberts as well getting nice and close as Bean is retired in the pit lane, so takes that fastest lap and runs with it.
He got the fastest lap.
Yep. Swarner's going to get Matty Roberts around the outside. No, he's not going to be able to hold. No, he does hold it around the outside. That's a great line there, and he's going to have some good traction coming off it. Who gets DRS? It is Swarner. Swarner will have the DRS, so he should be able to get that move done as well for P6. As we've got a couple more yellows, that is just the retired car of Bean, I believe, so that shouldn't be anything to worry about. But Swarner now up in the P6. He's got a 4.5 second gap to Fenrique ahead, but 5 laps to go. He's going to have to pull in about a second a lap, which isn't necessarily going to be the easiest thing, but not out of the question. In terms of penalties, they are... Well, Swarner's actually got 3 seconds in hand, so Swarner only needs to gain really 1 more second to take that position. So Fenrique's got 2 penalties to Swarner's 1. So Swarner, if he can gain that second, he could be on for a P5, sorry. So Swarner driving well from right towards the back as well.
Nick Dracer just had a quadruple lockup around the hairpin. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm not sure what his brake bias is at the moment. And I'm pretty sure all 4 tires just locked up trying to get it stopped down there, and Alp is going to pop out. I'm just surprised he's able to keep these tires within a temp. This is kind of some of the stuff
big slide from Alp.
Just lost it.
Wow, yeah.
Goodness.
He's got, you can tell he's pushing. I mean, he's got almost no ERS. And then those slides show he's trying to get the power. As Wing has been disqualified for receiving multiple penalties. There we go. It has happened. Oh.
I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, it was Wing It. Sorry, Wing It. That's unlucky. But I was going to say good news. His teammate is in P10, but as I was about to say that, Burzy has taken that position.
Yeah, DK just pit as well. So not making it to the end. Maybe he was going to try it, but I mean, 17 laps in those mediums already is not going to do him any favours.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a long stint on softs for Burzy. 8 laps.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. For the second stint, you could probably do 10 or 11, or close to. So, I mean, they're not going to be the best at the end, but he's got the gap behind to not really have it make a difference. But yeah, what Alp needs to do now is needs to save a bit.
Fenrique is another one. I think that would Swarner in the net P5.
All right, yeah, that's important there. Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Swarner's actually starting to close down. Fenrique only with about 10 points in the past couple of weeks. He has really given way to R-Bar and Swarner now. I think R-Bar gain, I think Swarner might be able to make a big leap here. At the top of that championship. It has left the session. Fortunately for him, he's had a couple of rough races to start off. Sometimes it takes a little while to fully get your feet wet. But this is the battle for the race, and I think this is the only real close battle on the track right now. 14-19 left standing.
Well, as Alp picks up another penalty,
another 3 seconds.
That could just be it then. Yeah, so Jose needs to get a lot of warning from this last couple of laps. To hang on as he's another big lock up into the hairpin, but Alp now definitely on the back foot. I was going to say he needs to save his ERS and start to dump it, like dump all of it when he's got a decent amount, but he's just using it like a little bit every single lap and he's got nothing to play with when it matters at the end of the straights. So Alp obviously trying to push, but probably not being the best with his ERS usage, although now he's got to run, but 3% ERS is not going to help him. Jose's pushing as well, so just quickly check that ERS there. But Alp's still stuck behind the Haas driver. Perry's fallen just 8 seconds back, so he's not quite got the pace of these two, but it's been a pretty crazy race in the pair from Alp, just trying and trying, but Jose being solid as ever.
There's shades of one of the best races so far this season at Interlagos. I mean, he just could not get past Bean for first place in the race.
Yeah, well, he's got a 4 run out of turn 7 as well. Jose's got a nice gap there, so Alp needs to put in the banger sector here. But I mean, with those 2 penalties, that's probably going to really ultimately cost him a genuine shot at it. You don't really see Jose picking up 4 warnings, considering he's got 2 for the whole race. So far, Speedster gets another penalty, so that won't affect the race result, I don't think. Might just quickly check them though, just in case there are going to be some changes. Perry's got 9, Speedster's got 9 as well, so they're even. Fenrique's got 9, Swarner with those 3, so he's in a net P. Or he's not quite close enough to speed, so he'll be in P5 coming into the race.
He could get there if he puts in a couple of good laps here. He's on fresher mediums than Speedster has.
Yeah, it's going to be a close call, but a massive stretch. He's going to have to pull in, what, 10 seconds? He's going to have to pull in 4 seconds, so it's going to be really tough. Actually, maybe even 5 seconds. And the rest of them down, most people have 9 or 6 seconds for the smaller points, so you won't worry about that so much. Clay Flux picked up a fair few penalties as well. He's got to be pretty close. He's got 21 seconds now, so that's not ideal.
What is the cutoff on it?
I believe it's 30 for 3-second penalties, and you can collect a few more with 5 seconds. But I believe it is, what would that be? 30 warnings is the limit for cutting the track. I think that is the cutoff. As Alp once again 2 RS. It's not going to help. Dressé is good enough in the straight line. Exactly. He hasn't tried anything different, and that's going to possibly cost him a shot to win.
Yeah, you just can't outdrag Jason here. It's just crap stuff from old Jason Bass.
No, he's doing very, very well. We're on to the last lap now, so it's now or never. But I mean, even if he does pull off the move, he's just going to lose it at the line. So Dressé is really doing a solid job. He's been incredibly consistent against Alp, who we know is usually very, very consistent himself. They've shown fantastic pace, and you can see Alp running wide there. So yeah, that gap's now 9/10.
That's it. Wow, did not think that he would. I was expecting a pretty solid result, but I did not expect him to come in here and take names
100%.
in the name of the European Union.
No, he's done very well, and his teammate in P3 as well. So it's a 1-3 for Haas and a 2-4 for McLaren, which is quite good.
Yeah, I don't want to brag or anything, but Haas is taking command of the Constructors' Championship.
Around the final corner though, it will be Dressé coming across the line in P1. Absolutely earned it. Super solid drive. Alp is in P2 with those 6 seconds of penalties. Doesn't help.
Perry just kissed the world champions on his way to.
And Spears is doing donuts around the line, across the line as well, in P4.
Spears just trying to crash there. We did have that happen last weekend in Mexico. That was
that was a picture and a half, wasn't it?
Unfortunately, no one's close enough. But yes, we'll finish P5. Only about a second. Yeah, 1.2 seconds. Fenrique P6. Good to get him some points, but again, it's really losing ground now to Alp. I think if anything, in the greater scheme of things, if this has helped anyone, it's probably helped Alp. Really, at least he's 100 points back, but we know how good he is.
Nicholas getting just the 4 points and being with 0, it's definitely a massive swing, isn't it? And like with still a lot of races to go, it could be a really defining swing.
Yeah, as you can see here, the crowd in Montreal, they are downing virtual Carlsbergs in the temporary seats around this Circuit.
Yeah, Swarner does get driver of the day. Probably a fair shout. In all honesty, starting right towards the back. And as we got some fancy dance moves here, actually. I haven't seen that animation before on the podium. That was interesting. To say the least. He's going to smack that bottle and spray that champagne after a well-earned win from the Danish man. Alp will take P2, which is a good result, especially considering his rivals down the field. And then Perry to round off the podium, so 2 Haas's up on the podium for a fantastic race to them, and everyone's got penalties. Spears with 14 seconds in the end. It's not fantastic. Swan from 16th to 5th. That is a driver of the day performance, isn't it? So great result there.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. I mean, you got Jason just with P1. I think it would be hard pressed for me. Vote against anyone else there for driver of the day. Although Swanner with yet another stormy drive, P16 to P5. Enrique 14 to 6, P5 second. Or 5th place grid penalty. I'm looking up some of the most notable Danes in the world, and honestly, I mean, aside from Caroline Wozniacki and Nicholas Bentner, gotta say, Drace is probably up there at this point.
No, he's putting himself in a royalty up there.
Mount Rushmore of Danish athletes.
Yeah. But yeah, that was quite entertaining race in the end. Overall, yeah, some good fights at the front, in the middle, and towards the back as well.
I can try to get these guys into the party. Since we've switched roles here, kind of forget about that part. I'm gonna add Drace as a friend. I'm not sure if he's gonna answer, but I should be able to get Perry and Alp in here.
Yeah, they'll usually join, so hopefully we can get a couple of interviews going, which would be good to hear from the drivers after quite an eventful and exciting race. So hopefully they are up for a chat. Let's see if we can get our friend Jose in as well.
Oh, there he is. I've only got 102 online friends right now. Give me a second.
Mr. Popular, eh?
Yeah, what can I say? I mean, ever since I started my... I'm not gonna say that. Finish that thought. See, I'm still getting the PlayStation glitch here where it does not pop up. Like the friends list, it lags all the time. Right, there's Alp. And then Perry should be on the screen somewhere. There he is. Okay. Alright, here we go.
Is everyone in?
Yeah, so they are invited.
Lovely.
Yeah, beautiful.
We'll mark the roll as they join in. Just waiting for Alp now, I think, which would be good. Make sure your voice share is on for you guys. Just join the party as well, so everyone can hear your lovely voices. Might give Alp another couple of, maybe another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get underway.
Alp's probably throwing stuff around his room right now. I'm trying to calm him down.
Possibly, might have to ask him.
Temper tantrum. Two-time former champions, divas.
Apologies about that slight blue screen there, but there we go. We should have everybody in now, so we may as well get underway. Two Haas's and a McLaren make up our top three tonight. Start with Perry in P3. Has some really good pace, but then seemed to drop off a tiny bit in that third stint, but always right up there, which is fantastic to see. So walk us through the race from your perspective.
Oh, well, honestly, I didn't really know what to expect. I figured Alp and Dresse were probably going to be pretty quick. But, yeah, just my goal is to stay where I started 5th. I almost started on the mediums, but I felt like I might drop out of the top 10, so I decided to run a soft run there. And I don't know, my goal is to be consistent, but I still got 9 seconds of penalties, so that kind of goes to show that Canada can be pretty rough. But yeah, most of the race I was just trying to stay within DRS, and I thought I did a pretty good job with keeping up with Alp and the top guys with DRS. Let's see, after the restart, I think Speedsta and Nicholas were battling and basically almost wrecking each other. So I got the soonest opportunity I could. I just got by them because I knew if I sat behind them any longer, they would have just crashed in front of me and I would have had nowhere to go. So yeah, pretty good race. I mean, I think Dresse I knew he had a lot of pace here, especially after the EU1 race, so just kind of let him do his thing, and I tried to keep up as much as possible. Obviously, going the lap longer made me lose time with the undercut, so and then at the end, Speedsta, I don't know if you realized, but he would have I don't think he would have had me on penalties because the game was only telling me he had 6 seconds, but I think he really had a pit lane speeding penalty, so yeah, I thought I was going to fall to 4th, so I was just trying to keep it clean to the end.
Yeah, he had 6 seconds plus the 5, so 11 total. So you would have had him in the end there anyway, but you'd rather be safe than sorry. I think especially around a place like Canada where it is incredibly easy to pick up those warnings. Yeah, we did see Jose go by you at that. Were you pretty happy just to let him go? It sounds like you were.
Yeah, definitely easy to let him go. I knew he had the pace, and I think this Haas group, especially between tiers, is pretty close knit group. So our goal, I think, overall is to win constructors, and obviously, if he's got more pace and DRS, once he got close enough, I just let him go.
I don't think you'll hear any of those words you just said in the actual Haas camp, but it's good to see you guys working in harmony together. Makes it a lot easier when your team is working, and a 1-3 result is definitely going to really boost both your points, but also the constructors total as well. So well done there on a P3. Congratulations. We've been talking to you fairly regularly post race, so it's good to see your consistency getting up on that podium. So well done on yet another one.
Yeah, thanks guys.
We'll move on to P2 with Alp. Not able to get by Dresse. It seems to be quick in the right places. So possibly a frustrating race, but a P2 is still a good result, especially considering where some of the championship contenders ended up at the end of the race.
Yeah, a bit frustrating, but I mean, it was fun. I think he was running a very low downforce setup, so compared to me, and I think I was running very high wings. That allowed me to be very fast, but I couldn't really overtake on the straight, so it was quite frustrating, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 50-50. You can put the wing on, but then I guess you lose the straight line speed, and that will cost you in the race. And it seemed to there. We saw Dresse, you never really quite got close enough to throw a nose in there. We saw you try, or kind of half try a couple of times, but yeah, with that straight line speed of the Haas, it just didn't quite seem possible there. And you drove a very consistent race as well. We saw you pick up a couple of penalties, which is very easy to do. So that would have been another slight frustration for you.
Yeah, it was, originally going no penalties until like 6-7 laps to go, but at that point I realized I wasn't really going to get past unless I tried something different, so I started attacking the corners really hard and made some mistakes and got those penalties. But yeah, fair play to Joyce. He defended very well and I think he deserves to win.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be many anyone really saying otherwise. Drove a superb race. We saw a race, pretty much a race winger move going between a couple of cars in a fair bit of chaos at the safety car restart. That was a fantastic move. Did you see him coming, or did he kind of pop out of nowhere? Because you were fighting a couple other people at that point as well.
Wait, could you repeat that? I missed the question. Sorry.
At the safety car restart, we saw Dresse kind of come out of nowhere and take the lead there. And did you see him coming, or?
So what happened was Fenrique, he lost it and he half spun, so I had to lift off to not hit him and jerk to the right because it was right at the corner exit. So when I did that, Dresse just got the run and sort of went between us. It was actually quite scary, but yeah, I think that was the moment that cost me the race win, to be honest. I feel like I had the pace in clean air, but they're just not following other cars. It wasn't really good.
Yeah. Anyway, you can still be pretty happy with the P2 though, so congratulations on that. We'll see you next week for hopefully what will be another entertaining race for the Americas guys. So well done again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's good to hear. And we'll move on to our P1 man. Plenty of support in the chat, but taking a win in AM1 as a reserve must be pretty satisfying for you.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't expect it, to be honest, knowing that some of these guys are incredibly quick. I knew that Canada is one of my stronger tracks, so I knew I had the pace, but yeah, when I messed up my quali, I didn't expect much, to be honest, but I was quite lucky. Was at the right place, the right times. I got caught a bit behind by the safety car when it came out because I tried the undercut and then it came out and I got caught behind a lot of traffic, and some of the guys who didn't pit got ahead of me. So yeah, when 3 of the guys crashed on the straight going into the Wall of Champions chicane, I just barely escaped that. but yeah, so a bit of luck as well. I knew that Alp was a lot quicker than me because whenever I got a little bit of a gap, he just went in one corner, he caught right back up to me. So I knew that it probably came down to the setup. I was running 3.7 wings. I don't know what he used, but yeah, it gave me the straight. Yeah, right. So yeah, it gave me a little bit of an advantage on the straights. Yeah, it was hard to manage ERS as well when I just had to push on the straights. So yeah, I'm very happy with the result.
Yeah, I don't think we really noticed either of you having much more than 10% at any real point in the race there. You're both pushing incredibly hard, but yeah, I mean, with that setup, you probably would have struggled to keep up if he'd gotten by you, but it was just helping you down those straights. You kind of didn't really give him an opportunity, give up the opportunity to get by. So incredibly solid drive there, and yeah, to withstand the pressure for so long is a real compliment to yourself. So you can be pretty proud of that, and hopefully for the championship's sake, almost, we see you back next week. Give these guys a good fight again, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. But congratulations on a race win, reserving. Must be pretty happy.
Congratulations to the other podium guys. Good points for Haas once again.
Yeah, definitely made for a very exciting race from our point of view. Might handball it over to Kitten to wrap things up for this evening.
Yeah, I would say go Haas as well, but no rooting in the commentary booth from me. We are at Hungary next week, Budapest, for round 14 of season 6. We'll be there all week long next week, starting on Monday with EU4 or EU3, all the way through Thursday with EU4, and we'll see you then. Till then, everybody have a beautiful Halloween weekend.